You are now tuned in to DAR Sports Media. We are rolling out a wild card weekend. A wild card weekend that was similar. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about the college football playoff and how the first round of that, it was going to follow kind of what we gotten used to with the NFL playoffs. Where the first round is kind of stanky, and then you get into the good games. And the NFL saw fit to make sure that it was clear what I meant, because it was a lot of stanky football this weekend, but some of it was made up for. I guess we can start with the game. Well, we'll start off with the most, our predictions and what came true, or was most prevalently not coming true, and then we can go to the one I think probably members of our panel are the most excited about. So my double LA upset, it looked good on Saturday, but little did I know that Justin Herbert was about to become a playoff legend in the fucking opposite way. Justin Herbert, never again. Get the fuck out of my face. Justin Herbert, playoff Justin Herbert is a completely different fucking person. You have now presided over two of the top 20 most fucking stank ass quarterback performances / playoff losses of the past 10 years, between this and the Jacksonville situation a few years ago. I'm fucking done with Justin Herbert in the playoffs until he shows me otherwise. But I don't think that was particularly inspiring to any of us as far as the Texans go either. I think there's a path. There's probably a path we can all understand or think of. As far as Texans, they got the dual solid pass rushers. And the Chiefs' offensive tackles have struggled a little bit this year. In general, the Chiefs have struggled to keep, Patrick Mahomes has taken almost 200 hits this year, from lacking pass protection, especially at the tackle positions. So there could be a path. We could be sitting here like, holy shit, they cannot keep this pass rush off of Patrick Mahomes. It is gumming up the offense, et cetera, et cetera. I do not think that is going to be the case. Chiefs are probably going to the AFC Championship. Tay, thoughts on Chargers Texans? Who do you got for Texans Chiefs?
Chargers Texans went as expected for me. Just never seen it in the Chargers. I just never really seen it. They were favorites coming into the game, but like I expected, the Texans would flip the switch. Defense showed up, played a very, very well game, and even the offense, they moved the ball to a certain extent. The run game was solid. CJ Stroud, turnover free. I mean, that's how you win. So, the Texans definitely, they took care of business at home. It'll be interesting against Kansas City, but I don't think they have it. They don't got. Nah, they're not. They're not healthy enough to beat the Chiefs. Like, I don't know. The Chiefs they get by every week, no matter who they play. So, I don't think the Texans are the team that's going to do it. So, yeah, I'll go Chiefs over Texans.
It'll probably be both things. Patrick Mahomes probably will get the shit beat out of him in this game, but it's the Chiefs, so they'll fucking find a way. 17-14, some shit like that. Lee, my first LA team let me down. My second one didn't. We're about to talk about that in a minute, but which is the more important one, really, from what I've been saying in the group chat. Chargers, man, I don't know what the fuck happened there.
Me neither.
Yeah. What do you think of and then what do you think of Texans Chiefs?
Texans Chiefs, I'd probably give Houston more of a shot if Tank and Diggs was healthy.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, they're going into a place where Mahomes hasn't lost at home since 2021 in the playoffs. Why not? I had to go with the Chiefs. They got, even though they might win in the most wackiest way possible, like they have been all season, I still go with the Chiefs. Probably like 24-21, something like that.
True. We're stanking it up on Saturday. Stanky Saturday is what we should have called it.
Oh boy.
Thoughts
I
on that
think
game, and then your Chiefs Texans pick.
Well, I think I picked the Texans to win. I always find it hard to believe in the Chargers because in history, what's happened? Chargers going to charge. That's just what they do, and we've seen it enough to know what to expect. I know a lot of people were high on the Chargers this year. I know Eric, you had kind of said some good things about them this year, and I think a couple of guys said some good things about them. I just didn't believe when it came time to win that they would be able to do anything, and obviously that's the case. Texas didn't show me anything that made me go like, oh yeah, this is the Texans gonna be whatever, and I didn't see anything that made me feel like they're going to be able to beat the Chiefs. And I think the scariest thing right now is that the Chiefs are well rested right now. They've kind of coasted this entire season, barely getting by. And we do know that it's a possibility that there's another gear that they can hit. So if that is the case, and they can hit that next gear, against the Texans, then this is just all you need is one win, right? Like all you need is one win. And over the last 5 years, there's not been any team that knows how to go in and get one win like the Chiefs. So, a lot of times in football, you tend to look too far ahead. And sometimes, especially if you're going to get somebody you think you should beat. And we've seen it happen before. So that could be a possibility that they maybe take the Texans a little light. But once again, championship pedigree, man. Once you've been there to the mountaintop, once you've done it, it's you know how to get it done. Mahomes, when he wants to turn it on, he can show, he can turn it on. So, Texans not. I just don't see the Texans putting up enough of a fight in this one. I'd say it's probably like a 24-14 game. Could see something like that, but and even if the Texans got close, the refs ain't gonna let it happen. I don't think the refs gonna let that happen. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see like 12 penalties in a row on the Texans if they even go up by 7. So I think it'll be a controlled Kansas City win. Like they'll control majority of the game. Maybe the Texans get that like field goal or their touchdown when you think, could this be? Nope. And then they end up getting crushed. So I don't have any thoughts of the Texans beating the Chiefs. I think if you're the NFL, the team you want in the AFC Championship game is the Chiefs. And as we've seen all year, they've made it pretty obvious that they're on their side. So
be interesting to watch. It'd be interesting to watch the flagellation going on there. More importantly, most importantly, shout out to everybody in LA dealing with that bullshit right now. The fucking fires, man. It's insane. I don't want to say person who grew up in California, like we all know about the fires, we all know what happens, but like this is a very special set of circumstances. Just hope everybody lands on their fucking feet. And makes a comeback inspired by that. My pick, my sleepers for the NFC, who I think now have a fucking path to get the whole fucking way. The LA Rams whooped the whole ass off of the Vikings in that game last night. We kind of saw, we talked about it on the last show. And I laid out for everybody right here on this program exactly how the game was going to go. I said we saw the blueprint We saw Sam Darnold under pressure against the Lions, and this is a Rams team that has the ability through 3 or 4 young players that have all hit for them to generate good pressure. And God damn it, if they didn't come up with a staggering 9 sacks in a playoff game. I didn't know it was going to go that well, but I just knew that the Rams can absolutely generate pressure and that Sam Darnold wasn't going to be able to handle it. And that's exactly what happened. Sam Darnold just tearing up the money he was going to make. His agent, I know, was just staring off into space watching that game last night. They were so close, so close to pulling the wool over the league's eyes one last time. Be interesting to see what the future holds for that situation. I'm sure me and Tay will be discussing it in the offseason, in our offseason previews, in our draft coverage. Rams with the ass whooping. They now travel to the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles team, speaking of shitty games, who did not. Now, I'm kind of a little bit on the fence about this one because I saw a lot of people, and I watched the game, of course, and I can agree it wasn't like a blast at all times to watch. But I also have been on here praising the Green Bay defense at various parts of this season. And so I don't know if it was the Eagle. Did the Eagles have a sucky offensive game, or is the Green Bay defense just real fucking good, or is it a little bit of both? I think it's a little bit of both. I think a little bit more credit needs to go to the Green Bay defense for how Philadelphia looked in that game. But it's going to be another good defense that they're going up against. I think this is going to be a fucking rock fight because the Philadelphia defense is also on fucking fire right now. But I think this Rams team is going to be more able to make them pay for their mistakes. I also think that, I've been saying the time is coming that they're going to get into the chips are going to be down at some point. They're going to not be playing with a lead at some point, and things are going to get tight, and the momentum's going to be against them, and all of this fucking bad juju that they have, it's going to fucking unravel. They're winning the game last week, and you had A.J. Brown doing crazy shit on the sidelines. The bad juju is going to catch up with them when they get into a tight situation against an elite team. And I think it's going to be this week. I think the Rams are going to go in there and take it. Tay, thoughts on this Vikings-Rams, this Sam Darnold situation? And Rams-Eagles coming up next weekend.
I'll start off with the Vikings-Rams. I was kind of surprised. The Vikings as a team didn't show up. The Rams did whatever they wanted in the first half. Offense never really answered at all. So yeah, just collectively just didn't go as I thought. I don't think Sam Darnold ruined any money for himself. You can't play a team to 4-3 and then one game they just because it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. Like I know, like Geno Smith, when he had his breakout season, he played the 49ers. I don't think too much, and that was his first playoff game too. It doesn't go too much into it. Like, yeah, he's older, but it's not like he's consistently just had bad playoff performances. That was his first playoff game. I don't think he's still the same guy. It just happened at the worst time, just a bad week. So I think whatever teams were gonna do before this game, they should stick with it. I don't see why not. Like, no one's seen him as this superstar, quarterback or anything like that, but he could start. So I wouldn't hold too much to this playoff game. I wouldn't, hold him very accountable for it to just put him back to backup status. So Rams Eagles, that's definitely a sleeper game. Definitely a sleeper game, but I don't know. I got the Eagles again. I don't like picking the Eagles, but they just find a way to get it done. Jalen Hurts doesn't really have to do much. He needs about 115 passing yards, and that's it.
Well, that's a good thing too, because guess what? I heard a stat the other day. Jalen Hurts' career high in the playoffs passing yardage is 164 yards.
Yeah,
High.
Doesn't have to do much.
Every other playoff game he's played, he's had under 150 passing yards.
Yeah.
But in either case, I think it's going to be a heavyweight bout. Man, there's studs everywhere, stars all over the field, young, badass players on the come up. A key that might be, a big part of it is the Eagles lost Nakobe Dean, their up and coming star middle linebacker in this game last week. Tore his patella tendon. Prayers up for him. Been one of my favorite players since he came out of the draft. That's a really tough injury to come back from. So. But science is badass, and he's a badass young athlete. So I hope it comes back together for him. Lee, what'd you see, man? Old Sammy Darnold.
Yeah, I don't know if he was seeing ghosts, but it was pretty close. Sacked 9 times, and he lost like 82 yards on those sacks. That's the most in NFL playoff history. But I don't know. It felt like it went.
He was getting fucking slammed too, boy.
He was. Wow, they showed that
Some
man
of those
no
hits
mercy.
were fucking crazy.
But when the score was 10-3 and when Stafford fumbled and Cashman picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown, did it look like a fumble to you?
When they replayed it, I understood why they overturned it.
Okay.
I was gonna bring that up though, or at some maybe in the offseason, but maybe there's some discussion that needs to be had that the ball needs to go a certain amount of yards past the line of scrimmage for it to count or it's a fumble. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Because I get why some people felt like that's kind of in bad faith, that you can just, flick your wrist like you're sprinkling fucking pepper on a fucking steak and that counts and it's not a sack and it's not a fumble. I get it. One thing I did want to say about Tay, what Tay said though, about the whole team not showing up, to include the coaching staff, man, because I don't know if you guys were still watching the game, but in the fourth quarter, Joe Buck and Troy they were getting irritated. These guys know they're down by 19, right? What the fuck are you doing? Basically, because they're running the ball and huddling and not in a hurry up. Yeah, it was a full. I don't understand. It was they were. I don't know, man. I don't know.
And the Eagles Rams, I think it comes down to this for both teams. AJ Brown gets involved more, Eagles win. But the Rams, they're going to need more than Puka Nacua. Yeah. They Cooper Kupp only had one catch. That one catch for 29 yards. He's got to get more involved if the Rams are going to have a chance.
He's going to need to be getting called one catch Cooper, because I feel like that's happening a lot this year.
It has. Against the 49ers, one of those games, he had one catch. But yeah, I'll take the Eagles in that one. In that game.
Okay, 2 Eagles, 1 Rams. Am I going to continue to have to be alone on this? Alone in my victory and success in this Rams sleeper situation? True? Or are you going with the Eagles as well?
Before I get to that, I just want to talk about the Vikings getting that ass whooped. I feel like that's an important thing to talk about. The Vikings, talented team, talented defense, did not show up. I think it's Tay put it, did not really show up. Looked out of sorts. Looked very. This is very terrible. Just very confused on what I was watching and what I was seeing in terms of effort. Very disappointed in that. But regardless of that, the Rams looked good, but it's always that kind of thought of was that solely just the Rams being such a strong team, or was that just the Vikings kind of finally, the last two efforts that the Vikings put through did not look like the team that we've been watching the entire season. So
Scored 9 points in each game.
Yeah, it's just terrible. It's just been terrible effort from them to close the season, which kind of serves them right. And Sam Darnold as the quarterback kind of makes sense, kind of fits. So, good, good for them. Good season, strong amount of wins that don't matter anymore, but it's fine. As far as
that was tough. That was tough. Did you hear that part when Troy Aikman said that at the end of the game? He was like, they won 14 games and it really kind of doesn't even matter.
Oh,
like,
I heard that. Woo! I heard that.
It's a big weight. It's true too. Like, it's just like, what do you like you did all of that. You were knocking on the door of getting the 1 seed. And what did you do when you had the chance? You fucked it up. So, I mean, it is what it is in terms of the Vikings. I had no desire to see them anyway continue on, so I was okay with this. As far as the Rams and the Eagles, it's tough. It's a tough game. This is going to be, my opinion, this is going to be the game that I'm most interested in because I don't know what to expect. Don't know you don't know which team is going to show up, and this is for all of them. Honestly, this is for all of them.
Yeah,
you don't really know.
Both teams got a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation.
Yeah, it's like you just don't like what's gonna happen. Which Rams team is gonna. This is the same Rams team that started 1-4. They started 1-4. They found it. It's the same Eagles team that while they've had great, they look great at multiple times this season. They've had periods this season where they didn't look so hot. So it does make you wonder a little bit. Like, hey, like
they had a game where they had 5 turnovers and couldn't fucking win.
Yeah, it's like what version of you is going to show up? So it's a tough one to call. I'll lean probably just to the Rams just because of going off of momentum and how they looked, to close the season. Momentum is a thing
when you look at the important things. Who has the quarterback advantage? The Rams. Who has the coach advantage? The Rams by a mile. Bam, there you go.
That is the difference maker. That is a difference maker. The coaching is gonna definitely make a difference. The Eagles they're such a strange team. They don't feel like a team a lot of times when you see them. It doesn't feel like a team. It just feels like a bunch of dudes out there motherfuckers playing football. Like that's really sometimes what it feels like. There's a bunch of motherfuckers out there playing football together. And we'll see how it turns out. I mean, there's home. Was it home field is home field advantage? I guess here.
Yeah.
So
there is, and Philadelphia is one of the few places that is a legitimate home field advantage still. But
yeah. So, but also, I mean, Stafford knows how to go in and get it done.
Right.
I do agree. About Cooper Kupp, though. Cooper Kupp has been on a milk carton for a lot this season, and I think
far too long.
If he played up to the level of which we expect him to play, I think the Rams, they wouldn't be 10-7. They might be, might have been 12-5. Might have been, it just might have looked a little different because there's a lot of games I've seen this season where when Cooper Kupp was on the fit, it just didn't. I was just like, what happened to him? And Puka's going to do what he does. I mean, come on now, he's the guy. Kyron Williams, like to see what happens. He didn't have a massive game against the Vikings, but it's so it's gonna be interesting. These are the I haven't looked at the odds yet, but they have 2 running backs in this game that are probably horrible odds for touchdowns. Just like that Lions. Ooh, I don't know if y'all seen them Lions odds for them touchdowns. That shit looks horrible. You'd be a fool to bet on that motherfucker. You got niggas at 5 at like negative minus 500 for a touchdown. No way. That's not no. So
wow.
yeah, I mean, also, see what Saquon, how Saquon, shows up. See how AJ Brown, those guys show up. If the Eagles can keep their diva tendencies intact, they might actually have a chance. But that's asking a lot. So I'll go with the Rams. I'm not gonna leave my guy Eric out here on the island by himself.
There we go.
I'll go with the Rams.
mean, I'm okay with being on islands by myself because when the victory happens and the spoils come in, I get to have all of them. But it's all right. We could split.
Well,
it.
no,
It's
that's
okay.
why I'm not letting you have that.
Yeah.
Not
There
letting
you go.
not letting you have that.
We'll
Yeah,
see if we're going to add another member to the crew here. Apollo, what'd you think of my sleeper Rams whooping the whole ass off the Vikings? And what do you think of their chances going into Philadelphia for this divisional matchup?
It's funny because I actually didn't even watch the game. But I mean, of course, I was watching the score. I'm not really surprised because I mean, I looked at the most obvious thing: teacher and student. Sean McVay. I mean, outcoached O'Connell and Brian Flores. So I mean, that vaunted defense, that we were talking about, and giving and much due. They deserve the props because they were very good. They just showed them. He just outcoached them. I mean, now I will say this: I don't think they're going to beat Philadelphia because whoever won that game was going to be put in a tough spot anyway. Because you got to go to the East Coast, and then you got to go in that environment. And Philly, it's probably going to be cold as hell. Not saying that Minnesota isn't used to it, but they're used to the cold with the weather they have. But the Rams, I don't know if they're going to be able to handle that. And I think that the Rams played so good, like that game went so perfect for them that I'm kind of buying a regression. You
don't know what we really saw. Well, guess what? I got something to say very similar to that about another team you might be familiar with here in a little bit, but because there's this old, ethos that, there's always that one team we get too gassed up on from the wild card round because they whooped some sorry team. Well, I don't think it's the Rams. I think it's another team that you might be familiar with, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So you're not buying the Rams after that performance going in and beating the Eagles. Paulo's so somber from what I just said about what's going up later that he's just fucking can't even respond. All right, so 2-2, we are gonna see Bills Broncos. True, I think you guys got a real one out there in old Bo Nix. I think it went about the way we most of us thought. I was excited that it was interesting in the beginning. The Bills looking like a pretty damn complete team.
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah, my phone's like froze for a second. That froze for a second. In terms of Broncos game, I did not watch that shit. I was like, I know what's about to happen. I can sit there and predict, and ride with the team all I want. I knew it was gonna happen. I mean, for one, if you're the NFL, regardless, we already know what matchup you really want here to have for this round. You needed to have the two MVP candidates going against each other. I mean, this is literally like football, sports. I'm not going to say sports is scripted or rigged or whatever, but sometimes shit just lines up perfectly, right? I just think things lined up perfectly. You had the Vikings and the Lions for the number one seed in the toughest division of the year to close the season out. Now you got You know, now you got the Bills and the Ravens.
It would be dope if they could do it like wrestling, just put it on the line. Like whoever wins this game gets the MVP. The MVP is on the line.
In so many ways, it kind of feels like it low key feels like that's what this is. Although I think the media has already decided who they wanted to weeks ago.
Yeah.
No matter,
will make it even because I think we're all assuming it's going to be Josh Allen, which will make this even sweeter if the Ravens, can go into their house and take it from them, whoop that ass and make them look stupid.
I personally think they will. I just feel like there's something different about the about the Ravens right now. It feels
okay. I guess we got to kind of do both these ones at the same time. So I got you, and that kind of folds into what I was going to say. Is we're about to find out if it is indeed different this year, because they got a playoff. They got a playoff win last year, but they ain't beat the Bills or the fucking Chiefs. That's who I need to see them make it happen against. And what I was going to talk about, when Apollo started talking about how the Rams laid such an ass whooping that we don't even really know what they got. People were really gassed up about this fucking Ravens performance on Saturday. And the Steelers are sorry as fuck, man. Like, are you really that impressed that they did that to the Steelers? Looked like they wanted to fucking leave in the first possession. Steelers looked like they already had vacation tickets bought. They didn't want no parts of that fucking game. And you're trying to tell me that, like, oh, this feels different this time. The Steelers are probably the worst fucking team that got into the playoffs and looked like it. So I'm just saying, go beat the Bills, go beat the Chiefs, and then I'll think something different about this year's Ravens team. Until then, I don't want to fucking hear it. I'm going Bills, but you seem like you are ready for the Ravens to make that move.
Yeah, I feel like, but we saw them head to head already this year.
Yeah,
and
not in the playoffs though. How many times? How many times have we talked about the regular season and the Ravens? The regular season Ravens, RSR.
Also, to counter that, I mean, Josh Allen don't necessarily have the greatest playoff success either. So, so I think honestly, this game is like, hey, this is the two MVP candidates, but also, which one of you motherfuckers is going to actually step up? I mean, we've seen. Like regular season don't matter, right? Because the Bills beat the Chiefs, right? So regular season doesn't matter if the Bills advance. They still got it. You still have to get past this team. You still have to get past the two.
This is a good lineal championship situation because the Bills beat the Chiefs, but the Ravens whooped the Bills. So
yeah, so it's just like so who's it going to be? What's it going to come down to? I think Lamar is extremely motivated this season, and you see it in just. And I think he's the best he's ever been, which. It all boils down to their coaching and play calling and what they do, because there's ways they could win. There's ways they can get it done. There's ways they could dominate this game if they wanted to. It's just the Ravens, their play calling to me is more of an issue than anything else, because we've seen in the playoffs where there's a formula that they can get it done with. If we go out there and say, hey, we have this guy who can throw the ball. He can run if we need him to run. He can do anything we need him to. So we have to center ourselves around that. Don't let Lamar go out there trying to go band for band with Josh Allen trying to throw for 350, 400. Not that he can't, but
just win the game. Just win the fucking game.
Yeah, like the Bills might give you a chance to go run for 85 or 112, whatever it takes. That might be what gets it done. You might have to go out there and run. It could be a Mark Andrews night for the Ravens. You don't really know, you know what I'm saying? It could be an Isaiah Likely night. You don't know. Derrick Henry might run for 175. You don't know what to expect from this Ravens team. So I think with it, this is the first year though in a while that kind of have that where, hey, could it be a Lamar throwing night? Could it be a Derrick Henry night? We never looked at any of these running backs from the last few years and thought, oh, is this going to be his night? Is he that much of a force? We didn't have that. we didn't have that before. So I think now seeing the Ravens have that, it does make you think. That's why I think it feels different. Derrick Henry to me is like the ace in the hole for this team. So don't know if the Bills can stop him. So that's where it comes. That's where it's at for me. I just like to see. Just like to see Lamar get it done. I don't want to see the Bills have any success. So, that's just they've I don't want to see them go to the Super Bowl just to lose anyway. So, truly want a Mahomes. I want another Mahomes Lamar game. So that's what I want. So we'll see.
Tay, might be a big couple of weeks for you. Depending on how this goes. What do you think, man? Ravens, Bills.
I'm gonna go with the Bills. I just think this is probably the best Bills team Josh Allen has had. And I heard some remarks on Josh Allen. He's not a playoff guy. Disagree. He's only lost to Mahomes and Joe Burrow. He's lost to better quarterback, like the best guys. Losing to the Super Bowl winner and whatnot. But I 100% trust Josh Allen against really anyone this year. This is the best he's been, best his team's been. James Cook had a great game against a great
James
Broncos
Cook was getting it done. Yep.
Did whatever he wanted. So, you say Derrick Henry is going to change the game, but I think James Cook can do the same thing. Like they're not on the same level, but James Cook can have just as an impactful game as Derrick Henry can. I don't know. I just don't see it in the Ravens. Like, I don't know. It's just something about them. They do this every year. They get y'all going. Oh man, this the year. This the team. It's never the team. It's never the year. I don't
know a lot about that though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not this year either. Maybe another time, but nah, it's not this year. Just don't have it. They just don't have it. John Harbaugh, best cheerleader in the league. I don't know, man. I just don't. Nah, I just don't see it. The Bills got it going on, bro.
Apollo, when you were stepped out, I was saying that as much as you feel about the Rams, that maybe they whooped the ass off the Vikings so much that we don't even know what they are. I kind of feel like that about the Ravens because everybody was extremely gassed up about them on Saturday night, talking about this is the year and this feels different and this is that. The Steelers were the sorriest fucking team that made the playoffs and did not want nothing to do with that game from the opening snap. And this still even got a little bit fucking weird in the third quarter. So, okay, you went out and whooped the shit out of the Steelers, who quit from the fucking first 5 minutes. I don't know. I got to see the Ravens actually get it done and beat the Bills or the Chiefs one time for the one time. What do you think about this game this weekend there, Apollo?
This is going to be a real good one. This is shaping up to be a classic. Yeah, it's shaping up to be a classic. Let's just look, real quick. Let's go through the storylines. You got the two MVP hopefuls, going against each other. See, just to tie in to the MVP conversation real quick. See, the MVP is a regular season and half of the playoff award. So that does factor in too, because let's be honest, whoever wins this game, they're going to be there. So with that being said, even though I think the Vegas odds have, what is it? It's pretty much by a touchdown, right? Is that the spread? What's the spread, like 6?
No, Ravens by 1 point.
1 point?
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So
it wasn't like that yesterday, but Ravens by 1.
Yesterday I thought it was like water. Okay. So, that's interesting. So this is damn near a pick 'em. But I still feel because the Ravens did wallop the Bills earlier this year. For the Bills season overall, that's a quote unquote good loss for them because that's the Ravens are always a pretty respectable team, dominant usually when it comes to regular season. So it's there's no slouch getting beat by them. But I really think that if the Ravens continue to do what they did last week, which is run the ball, I mean, especially from no Zay Flowers, like I don't know if he's going to play this game. I hope he does. I really do hope he does.
I think he said he's gonna be out. Yeah.
Shit. Well, see, I'm a little nervous. So that means you definitely got to do what they did last week. Run the ball. Lamar is going to have to run too. Lamar took some bad hits early on in that first quarter, but he was all right. But they got to have better design runs for him. But keep it through Henry. Keaton Mitchell needs to get a little more burn. Justice Hill is good and serviceable. He's solid. So just keep the ball running and sprinkle in some hits to Bateman and keep Andrews involved. And I think we'll be good. But like Tate said, on the other side, James Cook's pretty good too. Like the Bills finally found their identity, and it's running the ball. I mean, it's simple. When you run the ball, it opens up the passing game. And the Ravens, they got to get out of that. What was it? The bad taste out of their mouth from was it 2020 when they lost to the Bills? What was it? 2020, 21? I forgot which year that was, but I mean, Lamar is going to have to beat these top tier guys in the playoffs so he can start having different conversations, more favorable conversations. You got to go through Allen. You got to go through Mahomes. I mean, he plays Burrow twice a year. I mean, it is what it is with that. But you got to beat these guys. So,
so what's the pick, man? You think they're going to get it done?
Yeah, I think the Ravens are going to win. I think the Ravens are going to win. You got to give Harry the ball. He's the equalizer.
Lee, what you got to pick here? Buffalo, Ravens, thoughts?
I got the Ravens.
Oh boy.
Yeah. They, like what Apollo said, feed the king, feed the King Henry. Like,
feed him.
I mean, and
nobody wants to tackle him in the second half.
yeah, there's that too. Like, and it's going to be cold as hell.
Yeah. Yes.
But it also does come down to the quarterbacks too. Like, neither one can be average and afford to win this game. Like, both of them have to be special. But
I remember, so the year that the Rams went to the Super Bowl and they had the Niners, the NFC Championship game was 49ers at Rams. They had the home field. They had been beaten by the Niners like 6 straight times. And I remember thinking to myself, telling my buddy, like, this is like, if they don't fucking do it, they're just never going to beat us. Like, this is like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen now. And it's kind of starting to have that vibe for the Ravens against any of these elite teams. Like, this is the year. This is the situation. It kind of feels like, and I know that they probably feel like this in that locker room. Like, this is it. If they don't get it done, they're not going to get it done with this group. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah. We have, damn, we're almost 45 minutes into this. We have made our guy Tay wait long enough. How were you fucking feeling Sunday night? It is a new fucking day for the Washington Commandos. Holy shit. Jaden Daniels is fucking ridiculous. Things looked awesome. I'm not I'm not gonna be so bold as to pick them, but I also would not be surprised if they fucking made it happen against the Lions this week. Because that Lions defense, we saw, was it a situation where it was just, they just figured out in particular Sam Darnold's kryptonite, and that's why they look like a competent defense again for a little bit? Or has that defense come together? I think it was the first thing. I think Sam Darnold turned back into a pumpkin. I still think this defense is very, very vulnerable. I think that Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, and the 2018 Fantasy Football Championship offense is going to go out there and get it fucking done between Ertz and Eckler and all of them. I said, God damn, the Commanders roll out the 2018 Fantasy Football All-Stars. I think they could get it done. I'm not going to outright pick them, but if the spread is deep, I'm probably going to take them in the points, and I would not be surprised to see them pull it off. How did you feel Sunday night when that thing bonked in during that game? It was a great game. And what's your pick for Commanders Lions, Tay?
Man,
It felt good. Felt like we were kind of had a feeling we are gonna win the Bucks game the whole time. wasn't really worried. Especially needing a field goal. Like I already knew that was game. We got it pretty close for us. We're on like fourth kicker, something like that. I didn't even realize that it didn't go straight in. I just saw the ball hit the ground in between. I was like, hey, I didn't even know that it did all that. I had no idea. It just the ball hit the ground and the kicker was happy. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess he made it. But yeah, I didn't even see that at first. Now the Detroit Lions, they had the well-deserved bye week. I believe they're getting David Montgomery back, which is scary. He's definitely important to the offense. They are injured, but I think they're still a great team. Of course they're at home, so no weather, artificial weather. But yeah, man, if I had to pick, what with the Commanders? I can't pick the Lions. I don't know. I have to go with the Commanders. I don't care who we play. We can play 1995. I don't care. I'm going with the Commanders until otherwise. So I mean, we showed that we can hang. We can hang. Like
Yeah.
Our identity. We can score with anyone. Like we can put up 30 plus points if needed. Probably will need that, because that's what the Lions do.
Yeah.
Their offense, I think they got the number one offense. So we're just gonna have to just win a shootout. I don't really see any stops. Like we can't punt the ball. It's gonna have to be one of those games. Like gonna have to score probably 35. That's like the target number, and it's possible, but it's gonna take a lot of touchdowns for sure.
True. What are your thoughts, man? Are we gonna be able to go with the Mandos over the Lions, or what have you?
All respect to the Mandos, but yeah, Mandos. No, I am not going to pick the Commanders, but I will say I thank the Commanders and I thank the Bucks for saving that goddamn weekend. This weekend of football, because that shit sucked. And that was the only game that was worthwhile.
That was a great fucking game though, man.
Awesome game. Love, like you that's what you want to see. You want to see a game like that. So this is tough because once again, there's two things here, right? The Lions could come out flat because they had time off. They, well rested, but also you get David Montgomery back. You got a receiving core. Offensively, it's just too hard to stop a team like that. To me, with that much offensive firepower, not that the Commanders don't have some offensive firepower too, because they do, but it's really hard for me to bet, go against the Lions. I think they've been the best team, in the NFC this year, and it's been just a dominant amount of offensive firepower that I can't see a scenario where the Commanders win. Also, because once again, elephant in the room here, Jaden Daniels, although he did very well against the Bucks, he is still a rookie quarterback. So there's always that a chance that maybe that the growing pains might have a tendency to be a problem. You just can't fully expect a rookie to come in and just go gangbusters on the on the number one team in the league this year. So I just, if they did find a way to win, I'd be happy for them because I have a lot of respect for the team. But I just feel like the Lions team, they're gonna be well rested, they're gonna be focused. The Lions team knows that their window is closing. I personally think their window is closing. No matter what, they have a great team, but I still think they feel like their window is closing. And not because of like a drastic fall off. It's just that, all right, you couldn't get it done last year, but no year is the same. Injuries can make the difference. You never know what could happen. Some of your guys are starting to get a little older. Some of the guys are getting banged up. Your defense as well. They need to fix that damn defense, but I think they got enough. They got enough to beat the Commanders, but I'm expecting a hell of a game, and that's the game I'm looking forward to the most personally, because I think it's unpredictable. It's an unpredictable game, so I'm gonna go with the Lions. City of Detroit. Not necessarily want the city of Detroit to have any success, but I'll go with the Lions. I have the Lions coming out the NFC in general this year, so can't go against my pick.
Paulo, what about you, man? Lions, Mandos.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Mandos.
Oh,
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that Jaden Daniels is on a heater, and it's such a thing called momentum, and it's real.
he's getting better every week. Yeah,
he's getting better every week. I mean, does this boy do pre-snap reads? I swear, does he?
yeah.
I mean, I feel like he's at that stage. You know what I'm saying? Where he's getting much better at that, and for a rookie signal caller, I mean that's really important. Now, I think my pick leans more on the side of Lions rust.
Yeah. It's a hot team that's improving every week, that believes himself against a team who was reeling on defense and is coming off a bye.
Right. So I'm thinking that's probably that could be happening. That's on the table. I will say that. That's on the table.
Lee, what do you think, man? Are we going to get a unbalanced? We got 2 for the Commanders and 2 for the Lions. I didn't think it was going to be that.
Wow, I'm breaking the tie. Okay.
Man, dude.
I really wanted to, and man, I got the Lions.
There you go.
I got the Lions. But like I said last week, I would not be surprised if game gets close, like whether it's a tie game or Washington's down by 3, down by 6, and Jaden Daniels has the ball late. We keep seeing it all season long. I would not be surprised if Daniels pulls through with another game-winning drive or game-winning comeback.
Okay. Well, we will see. He's going with the Lions, but would not be surprised by the Commandos. That's a same way that I feel about it. I
Let's
hope
it
that
don't come down to let's hope it don't come down to a field goal being needed for the Lions. Because in that case, that's a wrap. So
I mean,
perfect segue into UFL season. Yeah,
Jake Bates,
the man, the myth, the legend. We're trying to. Well, we will be covering all that for you. Plus, later on this next week, we've got our college football national championship preview, little review of the games this last weekend. Another great game, another two great games, showing once again the format. I'm not going to let y'all slide because everybody who was talking all that shit about the fucking format, they've shut the fuck. Nobody ever comes back and corrects themselves. And it's just like, oh, I said all this, but like this has actually been really good. No, they've all just slinked off and shut the fuck up. Well, I'm going to make sure to remind everybody what everybody was saying every fucking chance I get because y'all were wrong. But we'll be doing the college football show later on this week. Tremendous stuff. Check out Hoops Hour. It was good stuff last night. Video presentation. We got a future NBA agent on the show. We got a lot going on in that show. Great breakdown of everything that's going on in the NBA currently. It's already posted on the YouTube channel. Me and Drew came at you this past weekend with a world of wrestling, talking about the WWE transition to Netflix. Everything we did and did not see on that show. The Medium site, of course, continuing to burn up the charts. Numbers are going crazy. Anybody who's here from there or here from anywhere and is listening and hasn't hit the subscribe button, please do so we can keep building up those numbers, building towards bigger and better things for us, and so you will get the pods early because subscribers see it first before we advertise it. So please, if you're here checking us out, we thank you for your patronage. Please hit the subscribe button. Soul Revival 6 still out there burning up the charts on every digital streaming music platform that you can hit up. So hit that up as well. True's newest album.
Also,
the Medium site. Yeah, what's up?
Also, just want to really quickly touch on the fact that there is a lot happening right now in the world of DAR in terms of media coverage live. Got Apollo on with us. Obviously, he has been making my brother's been making the rounds. He's been doing a lot of things in the NCAA world. We'll see how this weekend goes for me being at a NCAA game. Apparently, Cincinnati is like very, very weird in their communication for that. But I will be covering the Cincinnati Cyclones, the hockey team that is minor league for the NHL. I will be doing coverage for that team for the next week and some change. Every home game, I will be there and I will be present. This is more of a World of Wrestling thing, but I put in a request to do some media for a particular show that's taking place this weekend in the land of wrestling, and apparently that request got blocked by the company. So that'll be an interesting story to tell on the next World of Wrestling wrestling one. But no, big things are in the works. Like I said, obviously, my brother Apollo just getting to go and do a scouting work for Shock Sports. He also, you can check out the DAR Sports and Media YouTube. All those shorts and those videos are gonna be there. There's gonna be shorts and videos from the Cyclones games. There might be some shorts and videos from these upcoming University of Cincinnati men's and women's basketball game. Just on the scene, tons of coverage everywhere. We are everywhere right now. We just killing it right now. So that's all I just wanted to say. Big thank you to everybody. Big thank you to my brother Apollo. Big thank you to my guy Dre, who was an aspiring NBA agent. He was on last night. Shout out to Tev, who I don't know if I can actually say what he does, but he has a connection to very close connection to the NBA. And what he does. So we just have a lot of guys, in our circle and our team, just all around everything. So 2025, we said it. We've been saying it for a while. 2025 is going to be a different year, and so far, damn sure different. So that was all I wanted to say. Just appreciate everybody. Appreciate all y'all bums. Even Lee Harvey. I appreciate him too. But Well, no, I appreciate all y'all, man. Like I said, it's only up from here. If anybody else got anything to say, y'all go to hell. I'm out of here. Yeah.
Only up from here, and we're just getting started. We're so busy and everywhere, but it's only just beginning the big things. And that's because the world of DAR never stops.